This is the response for the week one discussion. For the five-part section, first of all, the integration of Common Core that I used was integration of uh, fundamental ideas and thoughts and funds of knowledge that a child might already have, implemented into what the child is being taught or the lesson that's being integrated. I contextually use the example being provided about the lesson plans for the eighth graders um, being introduced by the teacher in consideration that the teacher has several students who has EL in the lesson plan. And the goal is to build learners' funds of knowledge. The teacher chooses, as explained in the example, a novel that the students have read before to describe the various elements. However, the students appear to not be engaged. So, first and foremost, when presenting such sorts of resources to a child or student, incorporating it in discussions prior to just demonstrating the reading might play a bigger interest into the text itself. Um, so if you're trying to adhere to the student's interests, explaining the correlation between what the student is reading or is going to read and their own experiences can provide a prior interest into the text before just providing the text to them. Because a lot of the times when you provide a text to a student, they just feel like they're going to have to read and they're not given any background information on the text itself or why it's relevant to them or to the lesson plan itself. Um, I think fundamentally maybe having a period in which students can have a peer-to-peer discussion about their own thoughts and ideas prior to the text, um, reading the text together as a peer-to-peer, and then having a discussion after the peer-to-peer um, demonstration. So then afterwards, you can collectively come together and discuss it as a whole so that interests or ideas that have been fundamentally brought into the peer-to-peer discussion can now be discussed with the whole class as a whole. And now you can create an entire discussion based on all the students' ideas and individual ideas as well. Which is great about this is because once you do that, students can then bring in other ideas that other students may have had and they may have not have thought of, and then implement them into their own assignment as well. A lot of people might think that this is considered maybe cheating or you're just copying somebody else, but initially that isn't the idea. The idea is the fact that students took the time to create these concepts that they learned from it, and so allowing their fellow peers to use it actually creates a confidence booster for that person, but also opens up other thought process and critical thinking for the other students who may have not had that idea to begin with. Um, and then lastly, again, it's at the end always having a method or a way into which creating a personal connection to it is relevant. So I would advise creating a real life example that can be used in the classroom. The one I can think of the most is when discussing about like maybe World War II or World War One, setting up your classroom to like maybe like a trench warfare or creating mortars that are out of paper balls and having students divide into both sides of the parties that were in the war, allowing them to throw over the mortars and having people go through the trenches. It creates this realistic perspective of the things that were going on during this war, and then bringing it back together to what they're experiencing now. They might not be having any wars in their life right now, but what are some circumstances that may have been difficult to them that they feel like they're having to crawl through the trenches or fight their way through. This allows for just relatability to the text itself.